This is DWBS Sports. DWBS Sports, it's your favorite show. DWBS Sports, where degenerates go. DWBS Sports, time to change your approach with Aaron Holderman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of shit.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Dudes Who Bet Sports Show. We've got a special edition on Wednesday here, moving the time period around, but we're here, we're ready. It is a big week, definitely for us, for sure, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, this is the week. If you're an OU fan, this is it. Texas OU is special. There's nothing like it. If you're an OU fan or a Texas fan, it's just it's the ultimate. Going to that game is like no other.
It is definitely going to be it's going to be something down at the Cotton Bowl this weekend, no doubt about it. We'll get into that one. I'm going to save it for the last one we do on the
All right.
on the college football side of things. Yeah, special Wednesday show. Like I said, glad Shotty's here, glad Bree is here. Others start to filter in as they realize, oh shit, they're doing a show today. So there's that Belmont.
It was spur of the moment.
Yes, very much so. We also have Belmont as well. It's going on right now. Belmont at the Big A, special Wednesday card. They're at the race 7 there. We'll kind of give updates as we go on that as well. All right, let's get to it. Let's get to the afternoon. What we're going to do here, like I said, I'm skipping OU Texas. We're saving it for the last, and we're going to run down the rest of the top 25 first. Really, OU Texas definitely the marquee game, but there's some sleepers in here as well that I thought were pretty interesting. So let's get to it. Let's get right to the 11 a.m. kickoff. Maryland and Ohio State. You told me last weekend you thought Maryland was sneaky. You thought they were pretty good. They're 20-point underdogs at Ohio State. Who's getting this one?
I wish this game was at Maryland. I'd feel a little bit better about it. I do think Maryland's decent. They might be the fourth or there's a real battle for after Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State. Who's the next best team in the Big Ten? It could be them. There's no one else I can think of. Can you think of anybody? Maybe Iowa, but Iowa's
probably not. Yeah,
they're not that good. So I do think they are decent. Are they Ohio State decent? No, they're not going to go in there and win. The question is 20 too much? Can they play them halfway close? I think they will for a while, but I don't think they can hold on. So I can't take Maryland and the points.
Yeah, no, I couldn't either in this game. I thought about it for a while, and I thought 20 is just a little too much. So I'm with you. I took Ohio State here, or 20 is not enough. I should have said I took Ohio State. I do think Maryland offensively might be able to give them some problems, and if they do, they could cover, but I just don't trust the Terrapins yet going into Ohio State.
Their history in these games is not good.
Speaking of two teams you really can't trust at this moment. LSU 3-2, their defense is atrocious. They are 6-point favorites though this weekend on the road against 5-0 Missouri. Missouri did beat K-State. I think LSU's kind of like K-State, maybe a little bit. I don't know. That seems like an awful lot of points for the road team this weekend up in Columbia. What do you think of this game?
How are they still in the top 25? There's a lot of teams that deserve this more than they have. They played 5 games and lost 2.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. And then not only that, Missouri's number 21, but LSU's 6-point favorite at number 23. Mm-hmm. Makes no sense to me at all. I'm going to take Missouri plus 6. I don't think LSU's very good. And I don't think Mississippi's very good. And they beat LSU. Missouri is pretty tough in Columbia. This is a huge game for them. Their offense played great against K-State. A workmanlike effort at Vanderbilt, a game they struggle with at times. They won by 17. It's an 11 o'clock kickoff. That's in LSU's favor. We've been to Missouri when these kind of games come along, and it is a nut house up there. They're going to be ready. I like Missouri at plus 6.
Yeah, I took them too. I took Missouri at plus 6 in this game as well. We're very similar here to kick this thing off. I'm with you. I just feel like LSU, boy, they They did not look good against Arkansas, and they did not look good against Ole Miss. They will score, but can they? I mean, Missouri's offense is pretty darn good. I don't think they'll be able to stop them here. Like I said, tough spot. I think Missouri wins.
Aaron, I think Missouri's defense is decent.
I think Missouri's going to win the game outright.
They might.
They haven't played anybody really.
K-State.
Yeah, who's just okay. I don't know what LSU is. You look at LSU just got murdered to Florida State, and then you watch Florida State after that, and it's like they're okay, but they're not like some kind of otherworldly type team, right?
Well, and then again too, who's LSU beat?
That's just it. That's just it. You look at the Ole Miss team; they got smoked at Alabama. It was not competitive.
No,
they beat LSU. So
that's right.
LSU
beat Arkansas, which is obviously not very good.
No,
and they beat some rinky-dink, and they beat Mississippi State.
Yeah.
So Missouri's got the best win of the two teams when you compare them. So I like the Tigers a lot in this game.
Yep. Well, of course you do. The Tigers are going to win this game. That is a lot.
I mean the Missouri Tigers.
All right, let's move on. Washington State at UCLA. Big game here as well. Washington State undefeated, but they are 3.5-point underdogs against UCLA. UCLA probably still should be ranked. Kind of dumb that they're not. Their one loss was not a bad one. It was at Utah. What do you think, UCLA or Washington State in this one?
Well, the Pac-12 is going to start separating a little bit because they're going to start playing each other. And the Pac-12's loaded. They're not a fluke. You got really good teams. Oregon, Washington. If Utah get their quarterback back, Oregon State's good. UCLA and Washington State, and we haven't even mentioned USC. So it's a loaded conference. And isn't that amazing? It's not going to be a conference after this year, and they're going out with a bang. I don't know how to go in this one. I really like Washington State a lot, but UCLA's decent at home. Washington State not so good on the road. I'm probably going to lean towards the Bruins, but I wouldn't be surprised if we have an upset in this one.
Yeah, I'm leaning toward the Bruins.
An upset.
I'm leaning toward the Bruins as well here. I think they get it done. 3.5 points. I don't know if they're going to cover that spread or not. Washington State, I think this is their first. Well, I don't think it is. It's their first big test on the road. We've seen it over the years. They play very well at home up there when they have a good team. On the road, not as much. So I'm taking UCLA in the Rose Bowl to get it done. Hopefully it's a good atmosphere. They've had trouble drawing people at UCLA. I know it got better last year. Hopefully they got a big crowd for this one. This should be a pretty good one. All right, let's move on. Virginia Tech goes on the road to take on Florida State. Anything to look at or think about here?
No, I think this one might be a little closer if it was the other way, if the game was in Virginia Tech, but it's not. I don't think they're good enough to beat Florida State. 24 is a lot of points. If the Seminoles play well, I think they cover.
I agree. I think the Seminoles will bounce out of this looking pretty good. This Virginia Tech team, they're not very good. So
they are coming off a win, though.
Yeah, they're not very good.
No, I agree.
Give me the Seminoles all the way. And this one, and I do think they cover. Here's an interesting one and a very interesting line. Alabama goes to Texas A&M. A&M has given Alabama trouble when it looks like they shouldn't have, and they did. It's at A&M. They're both 4-1. Alabama is a 2-point favorite, so Vegas thinks this thing's going to be close. Who you taking? This is a really interesting game.
It is. And A&M has been their nemesis. They've played them as good as any SEC school. They almost beat them in Tuscaloosa last year, and A&M was what, 5-7, something like that. Had them beat, or had a chance, real good chance to win, and didn't. They beat them 2 years ago in College Station. They know how to play them. Alabama's not very good. That place is going to be nuts. I say they're not very good. They've come back with a couple of good wins after losing. And then playing poorly at South Florida, so they're getting better. A&M, that place is, oh my gosh, can you just imagine what that's going to be like?
I mean, wild.
It's going to, and they're playing better. They're coming off a win over Arkansas and a good win the week before. So I think this is a decent one. I'm going to take Alabama to cover.
Yeah, I think Alabama gets it done, but it is the line kind of is a weird one. The line's kind of telling you take Alabama, which is always scary. I'm going to stay away from it. I think Bama finds a way, but you're right. Such a big game. A&M can kind of erase that early season loss with a win here. But that early season loss was a bad one. Hard for me to think they're going to beat Alabama. So
I don't see it either, but
give me
Alabama's not the Alabama. Anytime you go on a road, you're a little bit suspect offensively. You can't make mistakes because the margin of error is slim when you can't put up a bunch of points. And that's what makes this game interesting.
Yeah, no, exactly. I agree. I absolutely agree. I think it is a very fascinating game. Gosh, I wouldn't be shocked. And like you said, quarterback position, it is a problem. What's A&M got? That's the other thing about it. It's like that. The opponent, I just don't have any confidence in A&M. They played one real team and they got their ass kicked. That's worrisome. I don't care how bad Alabama's quarterback may or may not be. Right. That's worrisome.
And we don't know how good Miami is either. And that's the team that kicked them.
So that's just it. You don't know about that either.
No.
All right, let's move on. Syracuse goes on the road this weekend after losing to Clemson. They'll take on North Carolina. North Carolina 4-0 up to number 14. North Carolina's played in a lot of those kind of weird games where it's like, I think, they probably should win, but I could see them getting upset. And they've taken care of business and been pretty good about it. They're 8-point favorites here against the Qs. What do you think?
I think the Qs are going to be a little flat going to Chapel Hill after getting beat by Clemson in a game they probably thought they had a decent chance to win, and they never did have much of a chance in that game. I think North Carolina rolls, and this one I'm going to take them plus the points.
Yeah, this would be one of my better bets here as well. I like North Carolina -8 here. I think they're a better team than Syracuse. I think Syracuse got a little bit exposed. We've kind of seen it with this team. Once they go on the road, it is a very troublesome for them, even when they've had decent teams. So, yeah, give me North Carolina minus the 8 points here. Big ranked game in the SEC, 6 o'clock in Georgia. Kentucky and Georgia, both teams are 5-0. Boy, Kentucky, very impressive win over Florida last weekend. Georgia barely escapes Auburn, and I think that's why that line sits here, minus 14.5 for Georgia. They haven't been great all year, really, talking about Georgia. Do they wake up this weekend with a ranked opponent coming into town, or is this just not the Georgia that we remember the last couple of years?
I want to take Kentucky really bad. I really do, but I can't because Kentucky's history in these games is not very good. It's just not. And it's hard for me to believe they've got the athletes across the board that Georgia does. Georgia's problem is offensively, not as good defensively either as they've been. They are vulnerable. I just don't think Kentucky's going to be able to score enough to beat them. I think they'll be able to shut them down. So I'm going to take Georgia 14.5. Oh, man, if it was like 17.
I know.
I can't do it. I think they'll cover. I think they'll wake up and play really well. And Kentucky just doesn't have the history of doing things against teams like this.
It seems like they should bounce out of it and play better. It definitely – Georgia's just kind of sleptwalk. They've had to take control in the second half of games. South Carolina's horrible, and they were ahead of them. And
Auburn's not very good.
Auburn is awful. I don't know. I think this game, if they struggle this game, I think it's no longer just, hey, they're looking ahead. I just don't think they're what they were.
I find it hard to believe they were looking ahead when they went to Auburn. That is a big rivalry. And I don't see them looking ahead. I can't buy that in that game. They better not be looking for anything in this one because Kentucky will beat their ass if they are. So they thrashed Florida. So I don't know. I just feel like I've got to see Kentucky go in to Athens and play better than they usually do. I got to see it.
Yep. They never have matched up well when they get to this Georgia game. So
right.
I'll take Georgia, but I'm not betting that one. It's going to be a weird one, I think, because Kentucky couldn't have looked much better than
No.
they did last week. Now, they haven't played that well all weeks, though, so we'll see. All right, Michigan and Minnesota next. Michigan, boy, they have just rolled over 5 inferior opponents. This is another one. Minnesota, not great. Michigan, a 19-point favorite. It is on the road. It is at night. Does Minnesota have a shot to at least cover this?
Big rivalry. I think they get the little brown jug. Isn't that what it is? Goes to the winner, I think. Something like that. Not much of a rivalry when one side dominates it. Michigan does. I just don't think Minnesota's got any offense at all. Michigan 19. I think they might hold Minnesota to 7, which means they've got to score like, 28-7. I can see that pretty easy. I think they cover.
I think they cover too. I just think this Michigan team is better. I just think they're just a better team overall than most of these teams they're going to be playing until they get to that Ohio State, Penn State type of games. This Michigan team, I mean, they just dominated Nebraska. Now, Minnesota, obviously a better team than Nebraska, but still they're offensively pretty challenged. And I don't think you're going to line up and run the ball on Nebraska. So, or excuse me, you will line up and run the ball on Nebraska. You're not going to line up and run the ball on Michigan. That's not going to happen.
No, and Minnesota's defense is pretty good, so that'll keep them sort of in the game. You know, the Big Ten has 3 very good teams, but nothing else. It is top heavy. There's not much anywhere else. When you're talking, well, I forgot about Wisconsin. They're okay. But they're not in Penn State, Michigan, and Ohio State's level.
They look like the 3 for sure, without any doubt. Real quick, talk about baseball. The Rangers beating the Rays once again. This is game 2, so that's it. The Rangers could go on to the next round with a win here. Looks like they're going to. So
wow, that is a shocker.
It is a shocker for sure. Yeah. And in a dominant fashion.
It's. I didn't see that one coming.
No.
The Rays have been consistent all year, tough at home. Texas limped into that thing. They blew the division championship on the last weekend of the season. All indications were Tampa would beat them, and looks like they're going to go down lose 2-0 today, unless they make a rally.
Yep. It's crazy how that's happened. It's wild. It is wild for sure. All right, let's move on here. Let's keep on going. And by the way, looks like a Gate Road did win the Pilgrim just now at Belmont at the Big A. So look for that horse to move on to the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. Pretty nice performance closing there. All right, let's move on. Notre Dame and Louisville. This is the big one here. Both teams, Louisville 5-0, ranked number 25 in the country. They take on Notre Dame. This is the 3rd straight tough game for Notre Dame. They're 6.5-point favorites here at Louisville, coming off I wouldn't call it a miracle win, but it was close to a miracle win. They were in big trouble at Duke, and they came back and won. Got to go on the road again, Papa Dude. What do you think? Can Louisville pull the upset?
Yeah, it's another toughie, and I'm just really puzzled by Notre Dame's offense. Yeah, they had to score a miracle touchdown to get to 21 in that game. That's not very good. I thought they would be better than that offensively. They got to figure some things out and turn Sam Hartman loose. Let him throw the ball. If they do that, I think they win at Louisville. Louisville struggled at North Carolina State, but you know what? They escaped with a win, and you just needed to get a win there, and they did. I guess Dennis is not on today. Probably fooled him. Oh, there we go. And when has there been a bigger game in Louisville? This is huge.
Yep, that's what we were talking about earlier. Probably the Bobby Petrino era, and Lamar Jackson was there.
Yeah, this is huge. Man, what a win this would be for the Cardinals if they could get it. I think Notre Dame's a little bit better, and I think they get the job done. But this is going to be a good one. There's some good games this week, really good games. I think Notre Dame's going to win. I'm going to take them to go ahead and cover.
I think Notre Dame I think they're better. But you know what? I said it to you when we were driving home last week. We've overrated Notre Dame a little bit. I mean,
something's wrong. They're good enough defensively. They should be better offensively.
I feel like we've overrated them, and I also feel like they should be undefeated at the same time. But
Well, let me say this, Aaron. Have we overrated Sam Hartman? Maybe that's what we've done.
I know, because when they let him throw the ball, he's been fine.
Okay, so
I
if they turn him loose, I don't think we've overrated him. They're just not letting this kid play.
There's got to be more to it than that. But if that's when you watch it as a person just watching the game, you do sit there and go, why are you not throwing it? Like, throw the ball. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Think about their defense.
Yeah.
They stymied Ohio State, or they held Ohio State down.
Yes.
And that's hard to do. And then Duke is damn good offensively, and they held them to 14 points last week. And they're not getting any help from their offense.
Mm-mm.
They're on the field a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't think we've overrated them. I think they got a guy that can wing it, and they don't know how to handle it. That's what I think. And they may adjust and get going. If they can get some offense, they're going to be hard to beat down the stretch.
Yeah, and I think that's just it. I've just been really disappointed. You
Yes.
play Ohio State, it's tough to move it on them. But Ohio State defensively, when they played Michigan the last 2 years, they haven't been anything.
No.
I expected them to score some points. They didn't. Duke, I mean, come on. I know Duke is a hell of a lot better. I know they're better than what they were, but still, you've got to go in there and score more points.
Did you think it'd be 21-14?
No.
I thought if Duke was going to win, they'd have to score 30. I never thought they could hold Notre Dame to 21 points. And it was 13 with 50 seconds left or whatever it was.
Yeah, Duke had them in a fourth down. I mean, it was 14-13. They should have, could have at least won the game.
Yeah.
And didn't. So
Hartman made a great run.
Yes.
On 4th and 16, wasn't it?
Yep.
Or they were beat. That was the game.
So
so, yeah, I don't know.
I think Louisville will stop them, and I think
I do too.
Tough. I don't think they've got enough. I view this game kind of similar to last week. But I was almost wrong last week.
Yeah.
So
I know.
I don't know.
They ended up covering.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what Notre Dame is. And again, there's got to be something more than what we're seeing, but to me, it just seems like just throw it and you'll be fine. So
I know.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. That's going to be a really interesting game. I wouldn't be shocked if they lost, but it's just a situation for me. I think they'll just find a way to get it done.
I do too.
And by now they're used to playing in every, the Super Bowl of everybody else's season. So
I guess you can say now they're 1-1 and games going down to the wire.
Yes, they are. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. The battered and beaten Arkansas Razorbacks at 2-3. They go on the road this week to take on Ole Miss at 4-1. Ole Miss coming off a big win. Shawnee, sad hog noises. What do you think? The backs are 11.5-point underdogs here. Ole Miss favored by 11.5. That looks about right to me. What do you think?
Well, I'm just hearing from our side of the family, it's just, oh, woe is me. It's bad. And they're all over the coach. And it's all dependent. What do the players think? That's what, are they down on the coach as well? If they're still behind him, this is another team they usually play pretty well against.
Yeah.
And I got them right against who the heck was LSU.
Mm-hmm.
Mississippi should roll them. Mm-hmm. I don't think they will. I think they'll win, but I'm going to take Arkansas plus 11.5.
I hear you. I'm with you. I think they'll go in there. I think they'll give it everything they've got. I think their offense is good enough to move the ball. Their defense is one of the worst I've seen. I think it'll be like a 50-40 type shootout. I think the game will be very similar to last week when LSU played them.
I do too.
Because guess what? Arkansas and LSU looked pretty similar when they played each other.
That's right.
I believe that this team still believes in the head coach and the coaching staff and wants to win. But I don't think they're winning this game, but I do think their offense keeps it in it. So.
I do too. And Ole Miss may be a little flat.
Yeah.
Coming off the LSU game.
I think they might be a little flat enough to where it's a 10-point game.
Yeah.
If you're getting 11.5. I'd take the Razorbacks.
But look who they've had. They've had Alabama and LSU back to back. Now here comes Arkansas coming off a thrashing
Yep. Yep.
It's a trap game for Ole Miss.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be interesting
Yep.
to see how the Razorbacks try to get to 6 wins. I think that's got to be the goal, and I don't know if they're going to get there. So
I don't either.
This would be a huge one for them. All right, let's move on. Georgia Tech goes on the road to take on Miami. Miami's a 21-point favorite here. Georgia Tech lost to Bowling Green last week. I mean, nothing to see here, right?
No. Let's move on to the next one.
Yeah, I want to bring up something here. Arkansas has been absolutely horrible at 4th and inches, 4th and 1. KJ's in the shotgun every time.
I don't get it.
Arkansas is not the only team that does this, but they are one of the teams that it has been really, really stick out like a sore thumb bad.
Well, and here's the thing. The guy's huge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Put him under center, get 2 backs behind him, and push his ass forward. That's what teams do. It's not illegal.
It's with a quarterback like that, I don't know how this keeps happening.
I don't either. Yes. That's ridiculous. Now, that is a legitimate complaint against coaching staff. That doesn't make a bit. You remember a few years ago when Chase Daniel was playing at Missouri, and they were really, really good. But they would get in against really good teams. They would get inside the 5, and he would be in the shotgun. And I know you shut him down a couple of times, and everybody couldn't figure out why don't you get under center when you get inside the red zone or inside the 5-yard line like that. But having him on 4th and inches, as big as he is, and as strong as he is, and as good a runner as he is, in the shotgun. Makes no sense.
All of the above.
Yep.
I couldn't agree more. All of the above is correct. And I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Like I said, there's a lot of teams that are in the shotgun at 4th and long or 4th and 1 or 4th and goal, blah, blah, blah.
I agree. A lot of Arkansas fans' complaints are not legit. This one is. This one is legit. I mean, a lot of them, I'm reading stuff on Twitter, and they're all over the coach and everything. And I read one, they listed the top 25 coaches and what they're paid, and he's like, I don't know, 10th, 11th, something like that. And somebody said 90% of the coaches on that list are competing for national championships every year. Well, I went through there and I counted 7. Now, that ain't 90%. I don't know what it is, but it ain't 90%. I think that's 28% where I went to school.
Well, now, hold on. It's Arkansas education.
Well, that's true. I forgot about that, especially with the governor they have now. So.
Just kidding, but not really. No. Yeah. Now, listen, here's the deal, Arkansas fans. It's went backwards, right? Like, Pittman did a good job. He got him out of obscurity. Absolutely. But it's went backwards the last 2 years, and you can't argue against it. And there's a lot of weird, especially this year. It's like, that just doesn't look right. You know, I get the frustration.
And we may be saying the same thing in another 3 or 4 years. You want to be good in football, get your ass out of the SEC and quit pocketing all that money, Arkansas fans. That's what you need to be bitching about.
I don't buy that at all. It's just
I do.
They don't have
That's right.
They don't have but listen, this is an old, that's a 20-year-old font. That's just not what this is anymore.
I hope we're not saying the same thing.
But the thing about it is, where are you going to go? It's not what it used to be.
You can't now, that's for sure.
No, you just can't do it. There's no place to go. Like, this is the best option for Arkansas. It's the best option for Oklahoma, for Texas.
Now it is. Now
you're not there's nowhere else to go. You have to go there because it's your hand has been forced. So
it's really tough when you're in a state.
You Arkansas, do you really want to? You don't want to go to the Big 12.
You don't want to now, but you should have 10 years ago.
Yeah, but it's gone and it's over.
I know.
So
that's where they screwed up.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it's tough when you're in a small state like Arkansas.
Yeah.
With rabid fan base, a rabid fan base. Razorback fans are rabid. Yeah. You got to hand it to them. They love their teams. And I admire that completely. But when you're in a small state, you don't have enough Division I players in your state
Right.
to have your team. You can't, and you're not going to get them all anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You might have 10 or on a good year, you might have 10 D1 players.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get them all.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to go other places, and you got to go to Texas and some areas, and they don't have that national brand to get that many players out of there. It is the facts.
All true. All very much true. I think for Arkansas people, they look up to the north and see Missouri at 5-0. I think they look over and see the team they're playing, Ole Miss. I don't really think Ole Miss has a lot of advantages over Arkansas.
No.
They're 4-1 and ranked. And I think that's where the problem. I think if Arkansas was sitting here right now 4-1, or even 3-2, you wouldn't be hearing this.
Right.
I think
it's legit. They should be better than 2-3. No question.
Yeah.
They can't. They lose games they shouldn't lose. They should not have lost to BYU in Fayetteville. That was a killer.
Yeah, and they can't win those close games right now, like the LSU game. That was
because they're not good enough.
Like if you beat LSU, it's okay. The A&M game, you never really had a shot at it. So
no, so that's a game that I would be. The LSU game I wouldn't be that mad about, but the A&M game getting drilled like that, that would bother me.
I want to get to Kevin. Let's see. Are we getting ready to talk? Hold on. Let's do these three. Let's do OU, and then we'll do the Pac-12. Let's go Fresno State at Wyoming. Dennis said, hey, I think Fresno might be able to pull the upset here. Or excuse me, Wyoming might be able to pull the upset. Yep. It's at Wyoming. Wyoming, a 6-point underdog in this game. They've already beaten Texas Tech there at their home stadium. What do you think?
Well, I've looked at this one quite a bit because of our buddy Mark and his Wyoming ties. And I think the Cowboys are pretty good, and they're hard to beat there. Fresno State's coming in there ranked. The issue is this: Wyoming's not very good on offense, and Fresno State is extremely good on defense. And that's who's going to win that battle. And that's the question. I'm going to take Wyoming plus the points, but I don't think they're going to win. But I think this is going to be a really good game.
I'm with Kevin B. He says take the under. I agree. I think it's going to go under. I think it'll be a hard-fought game. I'm going to take Wyoming with the points. I think Fresno wins.
Yeah,
I think it's about a 3-point game. I think 17-14, 20-17, something like that is where we're heading for this game. All right, let's go on to the Pac-12. We got a couple here to round it out. Number 15, Oregon State. They're 9.5-point favorites at Cal. Is there anything to see here? Is there an upset chance for the Bears?
I don't think so, but don't you think that line's a little low?
It's a little low.
Yeah. I mean, Cal, they haven't really done much.
Mm-hmm.
I would think that line would be a little bit higher than that for the number 15 ranked team, which I can't figure that one out either. But anyway, I would take Oregon State to cover that pretty easy, I think. Unless they have a letdown, which they could.
They could
after the Utah game.
They could, but I kind of think they're on a little bit of a roll. I think Oregon State gets it done. I think they get it done here. I think they cover in this game. Yep. Finally, Arizona and USC to round out this night. USC up to number 9. They are 5-0. This is basically Oklahoma in USC's uniforms. I mean, he literally has turned this into Oklahoma. It is like watching the same exact team. There is no defense. There is a sensational offense. When you got a defense like this, I think 21.5 is a lot.
Yeah, it is. I mean, wouldn't you like to just once hear him address the defense and just say, we suck on defense instead of sugarcoating it every week? Oh, well, we did all right. We won the game. What else you want us to do?
Yep.
That was if I was a USC fan, that was embarrassing last week. They had that game well in hand and let Colorado come back. Yep. We've seen it time and time again. Arizona is not very good, so I would not take Arizona. They just can't because the game's at home, and USC's always got a chance to get way ahead, but I wouldn't bet on them either. So, I just don't know.
So let's look at what. Let me find it here. Rank the Pac-12 because you mentioned it a little bit earlier. How good the Pac-12 has
really
been.
is.
Kevin B says Oregon, Washington, USC in that order. That's his top three. What do you think?
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I might put Washington at Oregon. Would be the only thing. I wish we had time to look at the schedule to see. We've got 5 games now.
Yeah.
So now you kind of got an idea of who's who.
Mm-hmm.
The Oregon-Washington game, wherever that's played, that's going to be huge. I don't think USC plays Washington, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm.
They do have to go to Oregon. I'm pretty sure they do.
They do.
Yeah. So those are going to be the key games. Those 3 teams are, anytime you got Caleb Williams on the field, you got a chance to win. And that's the thing. USC is going to score a bunch of points.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody's going to shut them down.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can hold them to 31, you might beat them.
Yeah,
and that's what's happened at Oklahoma when he's lost games there.
Yeah.
You stop the offense just enough to win. So I like that too, Kevin. I can't argue with you on that. You can flip-flop Washington and Oregon, I think, and be legit as well. But USC would have to be third.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I put USC third as well. I agree with Kevin's list. I think it's Oregon up top, and I agree. I do think the defense is pretty good there. I don't think we really know what Washington's got on defense. We're gonna start to find out pretty soon. Look, I think with USC, the back half of the schedule is really tough.
It is.
I think they're gonna slip up a time or two. I think he's got the best quarterback yet with Caleb Williams. I just think he is fantastic. I'm talking about Lincoln
the
Riley.
Best one he's ever had? Is that what you mean, Aaron?
I think he is. Yeah. When you look at
he's
his
right
talent,
there.
I mean, he's really something. And I just don't think they'll make it. You just cannot give up 41 points at Colorado and 28 at Arizona State. I mean, it's bad.
Well,
and it is rough looking.
Yeah.
It is. They're not good.
And again, you just got to go back to last year. They had this thing. They had the playoffs pretty well sewed up, had a lead. What were they? 2 touchdowns at Utah?
Yeah, they're
maybe
playing Utah
17.
Yep.
It was like 27-10, maybe something like that.
Yep.
And the bubble burst, and what they end up giving up 42, 43 points, something like that.
Yep.
And they got beat, and then turned around in the Pac-12 championship and couldn't stop them.
And once you said it, once that bubble bursts for his defenses, it's over. it is over.
It is a mystery.
Yeah. Yep. This is a dumb comment. I'm just going to call it out. If you're going to Dennis, Bo Nix has been in so many big games and not gotten it done. I mean, Caleb Williams is 3 times the quarterback Bo Nix is. It's not close.
Well, yeah. And okay, you take Caleb Williams off the USC team right now.
They're horrible.
Yeah.
If you put like a Spencer Rattler at USC, I don't know that they would be close to 500.
Well, they have played nobody. Not a team.
Yeah.
And they struggled against Arizona State, which has won 1 game.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, Colorado is not very good. I don't care who's coaching there. They're not very good.
No.
They're not. And to give up 41, and that was a game, there's no excuse for that. Now, Bo Nix is playing extremely well.
He is.
He is. And he deserves a lot of credit for sure. And there's a lot of teams that would take him. And he's in a great system.
Yeah, I agree with all that.
Yeah. But Caleb Williams can single-handedly beat you.
Yeah, I mean
he's kind of like Mahomes.
He is the college football Mahomes. Yeah, he's that good. And Bo Nix is really good, but he is just not.
He's got to have other players play well around him.
He is not Caleb Williams.
Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And
Caleb can make things happen himself.
Yeah, if it's
he's got to have receivers. He has to have some receivers help him out.
Yeah. I think Bo Nix has worked out extremely well for Oregon. That was a good pickup for Oregon, but that he is not anywhere.
I think he ought to go to Lincoln Riley and say, "Hey, bud, You want me to come back? Get some defense. I'll think about coming back next year.
Well, it is. It's pretty amazing, isn't it? Pretty amazing.
Yeah,
All right, let's get to the big one. We saved this one for last. We're going to the Cotton Bowl, Dallas, Texas for this one. It's Texas OU. Both teams are 5-0. Both teams ranked in the top 15. Both teams absolutely. Yeah, Caleb Williams. By the way, Jared would tell you guys are crazy too for that. But both teams, got high expectations for the first time in a while, where you could legitimately say both teams have got a shot. Not just one, but both teams have got a shot if they get the win here. Huge game. College game day is there. Texas is now a 6.5-point favorite. They opened at around 5, so that line's moving up. All right, Papa Dude, who you got?
Well, the best news for us is, and we were talking about this on the way home the other night, we play great in the Cotton Bowl when we're underdogs.
Mm-hmm.
And Texas does too. That game tends to go that way. Whoever's the underdog usually plays better than the team that's favored. So we got that going for us. Would we be as scared of Texas if they hadn't beat Alabama? And I think that's kind of inflated them a little bit in everybody's mind. Don't you think?
Well, of course.
It's inflated the expect or the whatever, how you're ranking them.
Yeah.
And that is a great win. One could argue that's the best win in the country so far. I think Ohio State beating Notre Dame might be better, but still, that's a great win. And they are much improved. And they have talent on offense everywhere. The thing that worries me the most is, can we control their receivers?
Mm-hmm.
We've always struggled with them. These guys are NFL players, and can we control them? The other problem is Texas's offensive line has been great. So in order to control the receivers, you got to get to the quarterback. Can we do it? I don't know. The other thing is this. Can we run the ball? Can OU run the ball? Because the team that runs the ball better usually wins this game.
Yep.
And you probably can say that about any game, really. Can we run the ball? That's not been our strong suit. So those are things to look for. As you've said and I've said, but you more than me, this is a game of momentum. And boy, once that momentum starts going your way, it's tough to stop it.
Yep.
So you got to keep that from happening. If you're OU, you can't turn the ball over. You can't give them an easy point. You can't let them run a kickoff back. You can't let them block a punt. You can't do any of that stuff. And Texas can't do that either, because that game can turn just like that.
Mm-hmm.
And once you get that going your way, it beats anything I've ever seen. I've been to those games, and I was at the game a few years ago when OU was beat 2 years ago. Were beat, and I wouldn't have bet anything on them. And they came back and won in the greatest game I've ever seen. Yep. So I think the line is about right. Having said all that, I don't think OU is quite at the level Texas is yet. I think we're getting better. I'm proud of the way they're playing. They're much better. I think Venables is doing a really good job. I just don't think we got enough talent to beat them. So I'm going to take Texas.
Well, I think the key to this, people in the chat talking about that's not normal Alabama and all that. I was there. I was with you guys until they just destroyed Ole Miss. Like it was no big problem at all. Ole Miss went into Alabama. It was a single digit as far as point spread. You kind of thought Ole Miss might, if they don't beat them, they're going to give them a good scare. Alabama beat the hell out of them. And then what did Ole Miss do? They came right back the next week and beat LSU. So it's not like Ole Miss is a fraud, right? They're decent. And Alabama made them look silly. Texas went to Alabama and beat them by double digits.
That's
to me, that's your sign in this game. And you can downplay Alabama all you want. There's not that many teams that are going to go down there and beat them by 10 points. And this Texas team did it. And that's where my issue lives with us beating them in this game.
Yep.
If Texas loses that game, I think OU has got a great shot, but I think Texas is farther ahead than we are right now. That's why I'm going to take the Longhorns -6.5. I really think they are a better team than Oklahoma. The other problem, and I mentioned this on the way to the car after the Iowa State game, that OU looked bad early and then came back and looked great for 3/4 of the game. Oklahoma has played nobody. They've played nothing.
Absolutely.
Now, they've covered the spread all 5 games. So I'm not sitting here saying we're not any good. They've done exactly what they should have done. They have not been hit in the mouth like they're going to be hit in the first quarter of this game against Texas. And there's nothing OU could do about that. They haven't been in a big game. Texas has been in a couple. I just think that's going to play a factor.
I do too.
That's the problem. So I just really feel like Texas is a little more prepared this time around.
Oklahoma has not played an offense like this one. That's the issue for me. I don't know how good the quarterback is for Texas. I think he's a tad bit overrated because he plays at Texas. I don't know how good he is, but I do know the pieces around him are very, very good.
And that's the other thing when games have gotten close, Texas knows who they're going to go with. And I've said this to you a lot too this season. OU's got some guys that are flashing. They've got some guys just like, I think they're there, but 3-point game in the Cotton Bowl, and OU's got the ball trying to drive it. Who you going to? Who's the guy? I think we have guys that are capable. I don't think we know who it is yet.
Right.
It all comes down to I have been a big I've criticized Venables a lot while he's been here, rightfully so. He would say he deserves it. What I've seen through 5 games, I definitely am more confident that we're in the right direction and we at least are making strides. But you get into this game and you get a Texas team. I think it's a better Texas team than we've seen in the last 10 years. That's the problem.
I think so too. I think they're finally realizing their potential. Texas, they're playing up to their talent. I would be satisfied to go in there and play great. Don't play bad, play a good game, get beat. That'd be all right. As long as you don't go down there and stink it up.
Yep.
And then rebound and win the rest of them. And I think that's a fantastic season.
Well, if they do that, they'll get another shot at Texas. They'll get another shot at Texas if they do that.
That's right.
Because these two can play
in the world one way or the other.
It's really not. And that being said, if OU wins the game, you all of a sudden think Oklahoma is back. Like that 1 year, it happened. He made a lot of mistakes. Oklahoma's back. He's got him back. If they go down there and it's a really close game, and like you said, they come back and win the rest of them, they're back. He's got them back to where they should be, and that's huge. Just don't get blown out of the game. That's when you know it's like, well, this was fool's gold because we really haven't played anybody yet.
Yeah.
Couple things I'll mention. Like I said, I've been highly critical of Venables. I listened to Oklahoma. One of the Oklahoma reporters, Gabe Eichert, was on a show. He's also a former offensive lineman, a good one at that, from Oklahoma. They talked about, hey, what's the difference this year from last year? And he pretty much said it without saying it. He said, everything is organized. Everything is tighter. He pretty much said Venables just was kind of overwhelmed last year. Everything is much, much more streamlined this year. He feels like everything is comfortable. They know what they want to do. They're very comfortable in their own skin. So I think you've seen it on the field. They've made strides. You mentioned it. There's 2 things to watch for in this game. You're watching this game at home Saturday. 2 things to watch for. Number 1, who wins the running game? Whoever wins the running game wins this game. 99% of the time, you go look through it. Very rarely do you lose the rushing game and not win the game. It just doesn't happen. So that's the big one. And the momentum swings. That's the other thing. Once the momentum swings, it is almost impossible to get it back in this game.
It's a stadium like no other. It's an atmosphere like no other. And it's once one side gets it going, you can't even hear the other side.
No.
You just can't. You don't even know they're in the stadium. It's unreal.
It's constant noise on every play. It like I said, you might be listening to say, these guys are crazy. I never really understood. You would watch that game and you never really understood why some of the things happen. And then you get there and it's like, oh, I get it. This is just, there's nothing that can prepare these guys for it. They've never been there. It's like going to a different world once you step inside the gates of that fair, it's crazy.
The thing that surprised me the most from when I went the first time, and we've been 6 or 7 times.
Mm-hmm.
These 2 schools hate each other. These 2 states hate each other.
Mm-hmm.
These people don't like each other, period.
Yeah.
The game is played at the Texas State Fair, the biggest fair there is.
Yep.
When that game is over, nobody says a word to anybody.
Mm-mm.
I've never seen anybody get in an argument. You walk out of the gates side by side, you go into the fair, or you walk back to your car, and nobody says a word to each other. I've never seen anybody, if they do. I've never seen it.
Yep.
And that's weird to me.
It's a crazy atmosphere. I went to the game they played for the Big 12 championship in 2018. I went to that game. Completely different. It was just different. It didn't have that feel, but you get down there are some weird things that can happen. I've seen, like I said, the worst Oklahoma team I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Went to Texas, or went to the Cotton Bowl and beat Texas. And Texas won the Big 12 championship that year.
That's right.
OU beat them, and OU had no business beating them. And
I think they won 3 games that year.
They did, and one of them was against Texas. I've seen Texas teams that are inferior beat Oklahoma just as easy too. I saw fairly strong teams who were no good give Oklahoma fits and beat Oklahoma. So
Baker Mayfield's sophomore year, there's no way Texas should have beat OU, and they dominated them.
And that's just it. Not only did they beat them all over the field. There was no fluke about it. They absolutely pushed us around,
and it just happens.
And Oklahoma went to the playoffs that year.
That's right.
They were a great team. Yeah. And they got beat by Clemson by 2 scores. Clemson won the national title. So Oklahoma was in the range of winning a national title.
That's right.
A bad Texas team absolutely.
Texas won about 6 games.
Yeah, and they absolutely beat the shit out of Oklahoma in all phases of the game.
Wasn't that one of Charlie Strong's teams there?
Yeah. Oklahoma went down there another year. They had beaten Notre Dame. They were undefeated. Blake Bell was playing really well at quarterback, and Texas beat the hell out of Oklahoma. Yeah. I've seen it happen. And it's what we're saying. Once the momentum gets on one of the team's sides, it's over, and you can't get it back.
No.
So it's great. Even the 2021 game, the momentum turned, but Oklahoma was still way behind. Texas could never get that momentum.
Never got it back.
And OU just rode that wave all the way to that last second win. So crazy game. Yeah. All right. Well, that being said, we're both going with Texas. So
I can't take OU. I just can't.
I don't think they're ready. All right, let's go on to the NFL now. After that, we'll quickly go through these games and get going. Bears and the Commanders. What a game on Thursday night to kick us off here. Washington, 6-point favorite at home. This shouldn't be much, should it?
Well, this is a bad one, isn't it?
Horrible.
Any game involving the Bears is not a good one. So, they should cover. But they're the Commanders, so you want to lay your money on them? I don't know. Still pretty risky, but they should cover.
I think they should cover as well. I think the Commanders get it done. This Bears team, it's dismal. It is bad. All right, let's keep going. Jaguars and the Bills. The Bills could be the best team in the NFL right now. They're 5.5-point favorites against the Jags. Another game over in London. What do you think?
What a performance by Buffalo last week. They kind of showed Miami who's boss, didn't they?
Yep.
Jacksonville's been over there for a week. Somebody mentioned that last week when we were talking about how they had to go over there for 2 weeks. They won the first game, so they're comfortable, I guess. They've been there. This is a tough one because Buffalo's got to fly over there and interrupt all their plans, and Jacksonville's in a routine now. Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to take the Jags plus the points, but I think Buffalo's going to win.
Yeah, I'm not going to, I know the Jags have been over there. They looked pretty good last week, actually, but I think the Bills get them. Give me Buffalo minus the 5.5 in this one. Let's move on. The Texans go on the road to take on the Falcons. Falcons are 2-point favorites in this game. Both teams are at 2-2. Who gets this one?
Well, there's a different kind of 2-2. Atlanta's lost 2 in a row, and Houston's won 2 in a row.
I know it.
Pretty impressively. So I don't.
Them, yes.
Yeah, I mean they're playing pretty well, and I'm going to take them. I'm going to take them, go into Atlanta and win. I don't think Atlanta's that good.
I'm with you. I'm going to take the Texans to get the job done as well. I think they might be on the way up.
Yep.
We'll see, though. A toss-up game for sure. Panthers are 0-4. They go on the road, take on the Lions at 3-1. The Lions are 9.5-point favorites. Stumbled against the Seahawks, but they've taken care of business the other 3 games. So they kind of just take care of business this week like a good team should against the Panthers.
They should. You talk about the Bears being awful. How about the Panthers? They're about as bad.
Yeah.
They should hammer them, Kevin. I agree. You really want to put your money on Detroit at -9.5. I think they win. I don't know. They should kill them. They should. But I'm not going to bet them. That's too many.
It's a lot of points.
Yeah.
A lot of points for the Detroit Lions. Give me the Lions. I'm not going to bet listen, this Panthers team, that's pretty bad. I mean, it's not a good situation. They just don't have a lot of talent. And
no,
they got to rebuild everything. They just don't have any players.
No, they have nothing.
No. So I don't know what they're doing there. I think that, look, the Panthers could cover it, but I think the Lions are just better.
Well, they are. And they're playing good.
Yeah. No, they are playing very well. Yeah. All right, let's keep going. Titans and the Colts here. Titans a 1-point favorite against Indianapolis.
Talk about a toss-up. Isn't this a toss-up?
I like the Colts a little bit.
Yeah. I think this is just a total toss-up. I really do. If you like the Colts, take them, I'm going to lean towards Tennessee. So there you go.
Santa Anita's card just came out. It's flopped up on my screen as I've been refreshing that. So there we go. All right. I'm taking the Colts. You're taking Titans.
Toss-up.
It's a toss-up game for sure. The Giants go on the road. They're 1-3. They take on the Dolphins at 3-1. The Dolphins 11-point favorites. They got to try to rebound after kind of not playing so great last week. They get the Giants. That's good news.
Yeah.
I mean, the Giants are brutally bad.
Yeah, they look bad Monday night. Really bad. And they were at home.
Bad every night.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to take the Dolphins to bounce back. 11's a lot. They should cover that.
Yeah. I think that I'm not going to play it, but the Dolphins, if you made me pick it, I'd take the Dolphins.
Yeah.
I don't want to play 11-point spread. I don't know.
The
Dolphins might be a little flat, and that could help. But yeah, the Giants are just they're brutal. All right, let's keep going. Saints and the Patriots. The Patriots are 1-point favorites at home against the Saints. 2 teams that really have trouble scoring. Where are you leaning in this one?
I'm going to go with the Patriots to get well and get a much needed win at home over the battered up Saints. So I'm going to go Patriots to win that one.
Yeah, Patriots aren't very good either. I agree with that. Robin going under the 39 points. Boy, that looks like it could be for sure. Mac Jones is a bum and a loser. Can't really argue. That's why Carter Amron says he's going to take the Saints to go in there and beat New England. I'll take.
Be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised at all, but I'll take New England. I mean, the Saints. It's more of the opponent. The Saints I think they're pretty bad, honestly.
Yeah, there's 2 teams I can't get right: the Saints and the Chargers.
Yeah,
but I did get the Chargers last week.
You did get the Chargers. Saints are really hard to kind of understand who they really are. All right, this is a team I can't figure out, honestly. Not the Ravens. The Ravens go on the road to take on the Steelers. Steelers are 2-2. Ravens 3-1. Baltimore's 4-point favorite. The Steelers don't look very good to me. Somehow they're 2-2. To me, the Ravens should really go in there and kind of dominate this game, shouldn't they?
Yes, no doubt about it. Didn't Pickett hurt? Didn't he get hurt?
He is hurt. I don't think he's week to week is what they've got.
Okay.
Yeah.
That usually means he's not going to play. So I like the Ravens a lot. I think the Ravens are pretty good. They did slip up and lose a game they shouldn't have. Mm-hmm. I'm with you. I don't think they've won 2 games because they're Pittsburgh, and you can't ever count them out. They seem to win a game that you don't think they're going to, but I like the Ravens to go in and win.
Yeah, I think the Ravens get it done. They're just better. I mean, the Steelers.
They are.
We said it last year too. It's like that roster is just not very good.
No,
So
it's
all
not.
right. Big game here. Eagles go on the road. They are 4-0. They're 4-point favorites on the road here against the Rams. You got to think the Eagles will probably have more fans than the Rams in this game. So it's not really a true road game. What do you think? The Eagles make it 5-0?
Well, I think the Rams saved their season Sunday by
Yeah.
coming back and winning that game.
Yeah.
I think the Rams are decent. I do. They've had kind of a tough early schedule. Are the Eagles due to lose one, you think?
By NFL standards, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, they haven't been real impressive. I'm with the chat here. I'm going to take the Rams and the points. Eagles might find a way to win it, but they're kind of begging to lose. The Eagles are, and the Rams are sneaky good. I think they're a little better. Didn't I read where Cooper Kupp may be back this week?
Yeah, it's possible he's going to come off IR. That no official word if he's going to play or not.
Yeah, that would give them a real boost. I'm going to take the Rams.
Yeah, I'll take the Eagles. I'll take the Eagles.
I'm rooting for the Eagles, but I'm going to take the Rams.
I think in the NFL, a lot gets made of if a game's close. I see every week. It's just like you just got to win.
You just have to win the game, and that's the bottom line.
Win the game, go play good again the next week. Win
and
again.
You know what?
I don't buy it. So I think the Eagles get it
and
done.
It's real, better. Yeah, we played 4 weeks, and to prove your point, there are 2 teams that are 4-0 out of 32. There's 2. That's how hard it is to win in the NFL.
Yep. In these early games, it's just I don't think these teams are really fine-tuned yet. So
no,
you just kind of go out there. You hope to play well. You obviously hope to win. You don't.
Yep. Stay healthy.
You're favored by 7 and you win by 3. It's really not that big a deal.
Yep.
Let's look at it. All right, let's keep going. Bengals on the road to take on the Cardinals. A great game here. Both teams 1-3. Cincinnati 3-point favorites in this one. I don't know about you. Cincinnati doesn't even look like they want to play. They're bad. Cardinals are trying, but they're just horrible. What's going to happen here?
I think the under's in play in this one. 44.5. As a bingo, have they even scored 44? Put 4 games together. I mean, they're just awful. If they don't win this game, you can put them to bed for the year, in my opinion. They got to win. So I'm going to take them. It's a must win. But I don't know what's wrong there. Something is.
I realize that they are trying, but when you watch the Bengals, they look like they're not. And when I watch the Cardinals, they're trying. They're no good, but they're trying.
I know. So it's obvious.
I don't know.
Something's wrong in Cincinnati. I don't know what it is, but something's wrong.
Yeah, Dennis asks, what's the Bengals' problem? I don't know. I think Burrow's situation, he might be hurt a little more than we're hearing. I think that could be part of it, but they can't really run the ball. Like
do anything.
They can't do anything exactly. And they just act like they don't even want to be out there. So I don't know. I think it's just a mess. So yeah, I'm not taking the Cardinals though. They're horrible. So I'm
Bengals roster is so much better.
Oh, it's not even close, but we'll find out. Speaking of horrible, the 1-3 Jets take on the 1-3 Broncos. The Broncos are favored by 1.5. Even though the Broncos have lost games at home against shit teams, talking about the Raiders and the Commanders, give up 70 to the Dolphins and had to come back for a miracle win at the Bears. What's going to happen in this mess? I mean, the Jets were better last week, right?
They were good. Yeah. The Jets played well. Could have won. Could have. Oh, man. Can they get back up after that? I don't know. That's just it. I am not betting this one at all. You asked me, I don't know. Denver's traditionally good at home, but they've lost to the Raiders and the Commanders at home already. Then they gave up 70 in Miami, and they had to rally to beat the Bears. If the Jets can get back up after that heartbreaker, I think they beat them.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they can. So I think when you got 2 1-3 teams, you don't even watch it and you stay away from it.
I'm going to bet the Jets. I think they're a better team. Zach Wilson actually looked decent at times.
Oh yeah.
If he go out there and just play an adequate game, I think they'll beat him. So I took the Jets. Horrible
Yeah.
game, like I said. Tricky one here, I think, for the Chiefs. The Chiefs are 3-1. They go to Minnesota, who's 1-3. Chiefs are 4-point favorites. Kansas City really hasn't looked all that good. They probably should win this game. This kind of feels like a tricky one, though. Who do you got in this one?
Well, you talk about a team that's just winning. It's them. I don't think they look worth a shit.
They really haven't looked
not
good.
on offense. Defensively, at times they played okay. Wouldn't you say their defense has carried them?
Yeah, the defense has been really good.
Their offense looks very, very. What's the word?
Average.
Yes. If you take number 15 off that team,
yeah,
they could be 0-4.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, and he looks a little shaky. They're not protecting real well. They can't. I don't know why they don't run the ball more than they do. Just try it, you know. They just look a little disorganized. They don't quite have their identity yet, maybe, but they're 3-1. And they're going to the 1-3 Vikings, who won last week. I'm with you. I think this is a trap game for them. But you know what? They got Denver next week. I think they got Denver 2 times in the next 3 weeks. And so their early schedule has really been in their favor. I can't take the Vikings against the Chiefs. I can't pick against the Chiefs, but I could see an upset in this game.
Yep, I can't pick against them, but I'm with you. It just feels a little tricky, but I just think they're a little bit better. The Vikings really aren't very good, and I think that's what it comes down to.
Hey, by the way, you make a point all the time, and I want to give you a shout out. What Mahomes did at the end of the game the other night has been a big deal on Twitter, and you always say. You can't, the object of the game is to win, and these guys don't give a shit about the point spread.
Yep. That's why the thing I always say is if you're betting, if you're making a bet and the situation comes to where, your interests don't really lie with the interests of the team that you just bet, you get what you get. And that's the thing. I mean, that, the Kansas City -3.5 and Mahomes is at the goal line and slides down to run out the time. I mean, his thoughts didn't align with your bet. And when
it never entered his mind. Hey, wait a minute, we're favored by 9 or whatever.
Right.
I'm going to go ahead and score. Yeah. And what he did is the thing you coach your team to do. It doesn't happen very often. Most guys would have gone ahead and scored. But he knew the game was over. All he had to do was catch the snap and take a knee. And that's all he had to do. Now you say, well, you score, you're up 10 with like 2 minutes to go, whatever. No. They can run the kickoff back. They can throw a long pass and score and get the onside kick, and you can still lose. He took the way you can't lose. The only way you can lose is fumble the snap.
It's probably a 1 or 2% difference, right? But that's what it is. I mean, it was 100% chance you're not losing if you do this, or it's a 99% chance you're not losing if you go ahead.
He took what you want to do, and I was shocked. I thought he'd take it right on into the end zone.
I mean, that is what it is. Now, Rob says he thinks it's becoming a distraction. I think as it grows and grows, this is going to be something. That
How about Kelsey and Taylor Swift? A distraction? I don't think Kelsey's playing worth crap. Yeah, it's me.
I thought Rob was. I don't know which one Rob was talking about. That makes sense though. The Taylor Swift thing.
I think he's talking about the Taylor Swift thing.
Okay, I thought he was talking about point spreads and betting becoming popular, and it might distract.
Oh well, clarify it there, Rob. You may be. I may be just thinking.
I think the Taylor Swift thing for sure.
I do too.
Yeah.
Because I don't. Kelsey doesn't look as good to me, but he could be hurt. He's coming off an injury, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Swift, Kelsey. Okay. It's a phenomenon, that's for sure. I didn't realize. I guess I did, but she's huge. Her following is just, she's news.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
time.
she just, whatever she does is, it's reported.
Yep.
And I don't know.
It's
I
crazy.
don't know what to do about it.
Nothing. Just ignore it. That's all you can really do. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I would be distracted as well. So, hey, we're gonna find out. It's early, guys. Let's wait till we get to week.
I still think we need to have a bet on here. Halloween, or when are they going to break up? Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, or the Super Bowl. Those are your 4 options.
Yep. I don't know. I think it may be love. Who knows?
Or you might also have a deal on there. Will she keep him from going to the Super Bowl? You could have that for your bet as well.
I like that too. Yeah.
Will she be such a distraction that the Chiefs don't make the Super Bowl? So that could be one of your options as well.
Yeah.
I think it'll last through Halloween.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take Halloween. But after that, kind of gets sketchy.
It does. It definitely does. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. All right, let's keep going. Cowboys and the 49ers here. That'll be the night game on Sunday. 49ers 4-point favorites at home against the Cowboys. Who you got?
Oh, this is a good one, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Now, of all the games you went through, there's been some dogs, but this is a good one. Oh man, this is the games Cowboys play pretty good in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going 49ers all the way. I think they beat them.
I think 49ers are better. Yeah. Give me the 49ers. I'm with you on that one. All right, and then finally Monday night, the Raiders and the Packers in Las Vegas. This will be a big game, big atmosphere here. Green Bay 1-point favorite here on the road against the Raiders. This is a weird
big atmosphere, huh?
I mean, Monday night in Las Vegas, I think this will be a hell of an atmosphere.
Well, it'll be green everywhere. I think I'd say the Packers will travel well.
$291 for a ticket.
I wouldn't give $2.91 to see it. I don't think
it's not a great matchup.
No, it's two horrible teams. I mean, one of them is good.
Let me see if it's the highest priced ticket.
Oh, it's got to be.
It is. Yeah, it is.
It's not even close.
Yep.
What's the Niners?
The 49ers are 288, and then this
this is a good game.
Yep.
These are two good teams. I can kind of see that. Anytime Dallas goes on the road and they're pretty good, that ticket is going to be pretty high. I'm taking the Raiders to beat the Packers on Monday night in Vegas.
I will take the Raiders as well. I don't like the Packers very well, so I'll take the Raiders to get the job done.
And this is a special week for me because the Chargers don't play, so I won't miss them this week.
Yeah, the Browns don't play either. Chargers, Browns, Seahawks, Buccaneers all off this week. Yeah, the Browns.
All 4 of those teams are tough for me.
Of course, the Browns we've been getting right this year. Chargers.
You have, I haven't. So you've got them nailed.
I do have it. Well, because I've watched them.
Yes, you've watched them more than I have. I don't. You've got them now. You have got them figured out.
Last week on the Sunday show, we were picking the game, and they were like, Watson's not playing. It's like, shit, I wasn't going to pick him even if he was playing, so this is great. They're not going to win 2 in a row.
No.
That would be big wins. No way. And
what was wrong with him last week?
I think it was just something minor. I don't remember what it was. Now I thought it was a shoulder maybe or something. It was weird because he was playing all week and then Sunday morning he wasn't. So I don't really remember what it was, honestly.
I mean, he's kind of shady.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for sure. Let's see. I was going to mention this $270 to get into OU, Texas.
Wow.
Yeah. That's a lot. It's a lot.
I like that. Tickets as low as 200.
Right. Let's see. Alabama A&M's 146. Yeah, easily the most expensive one.
Yeah.
Yep. Crazy. All right. That's it. That's all we've got. Any final thoughts before we head on?
No. I was trying to see here if I had any interesting little tidbit games.
Oh yeah.
In college, but I don't really. other than the top 25, the slate's not too good this week. I do like Army. They play Boston College at West Point. They're only 3-point favorites. I think they have. I think Army's pretty good. I think you're decent.
They're not bad.
I think they can beat Boston College by more than 3.
Yes.
How about UCF at Kansas? Well, of course, the quarterback's probably still out. Kansas is only 3.5-point favorite over UCF.
Yeah, I was going to look at that line. So, yeah, Kansas, I don't know what the deal is. That was a surprise that he didn't play. I mean, a surprise leading up to the week. There was no talk of that. So
now it's down to 2.
Yeah, it's down to 2. Daniels did not play against Texas, and I would guess is not going to play here. Wow. UCF not very good. That's the good news for Kansas fans. But
don't you think they can beat them by more than 2 without?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a weird line.
Yeah.
And so anyway,
let's see. TCU's I hadn't looked at these Big 12 lines.
They're all a little sketchy. Tech's 1-point favorite over Baylor. I guess.
Yeah.
I think Tech wins, and TCU only 6 over Iowa State. Of course, they lost last week, so I don't know.
Yeah, we will be at the Breeders' Cup, Kevin, this year. So we were going to try to do some live streams after, but we won't be doing live streams, I don't think, at least during this year. So, yeah, we will be there for the 2 big days. And that's not that far away. We're a month away.
That's unbelievable.
It is incredible. Yeah. Final prep races this weekend. Let's see. Anything else? I'm trying to think if I've got anything else for us before we get off here. I don't think I do. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, here we go. Week away, but from the puck dropping. Yeah. Next week, NHL.
You got to get my YouTube TV lined out where I can watch that.
Yes, I will.
Okay, you work on that.
Baseball. The Rangers are. Let's see. The Rangers are 6 outs away. They're up 7-1. 7-1. 7-1. Yeah,
that's unreal. That shocks me.
Dominated. And then the Blue Jays and the Twins trying to advance 0-0 after 2.
The other one is if Arizona wins tonight.
Arizona's got Gallen on the mound against Peralta. I mean, it's the pitching matchup does favor the Diamondbacks tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a huge win for them last night with the guy they started.
Yeah.
Fat Man, I think is what Magic calls him.
Yeah. Brandon Pfaadt, or the Fat Man, like I said. Yeah, he got the win. Yeah. And then, Marlins against the Phillies. Phillies have got Nola, so you'd think the Phillies are probably going to close that out. I don't know. The Brewers.
The Marlins are pesky.
Yeah, they've got Braxton Garrett on the mound. I mean, he'll pitch pretty well, probably.
He's okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Nola's got a high ERA. But anyway, baseball, playoff baseball is tough to get right.
Very tough to get right. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Never know.
Let's see. I thought I was going to mention something else. It slipped my mind, so I don't know.
Wow. Couldn't have been too important then.
No, I know. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. So anyway, it's going to be a big weekend. I think with all the Breeders' Cup racing going on, the prep racing, I should say, it's going to be really, really interesting to see what happens this weekend. Santa Anita, Keeneland, and obviously Belmont at the Big A. Yeah, blinkers off coming up tomorrow. It'll be either noon or 2, one of those 2 central times. Yeah.
Don't forget the guide we got this week.
Got the Keeneland guide. Yeah, the Turf Mile guide coming out. 11 races there at Keeneland on Saturday. That'll be available probably tomorrow afternoon-ish, I would say. That'll come out. So we'll have that. Magic Mike, I'm sure will be at Keeneland for their show this weekend. So, yeah, it's a lot going on. And then, Edge comes to AEW. That was a big, big time thing as well. Happened on Sunday. So, we'll see what he can do there. That was a big time pickup for AEW. So good to see him for sure. Yeah. We need to talk about this Raptors coach some more. I don't know anything about it. What's going on there? I don't follow.
Yeah. Rob, fill us in.
Yeah. I have no idea. I don't follow the NBA at all.
Not yet. I don't know.
Period. That's you. That's all you.
Well, when they start picking the games, I follow a little bit.
Let's see.
I don't even know who the Raptors coach is.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, so I'll fill you in on this. I was like, the Raptors coach, what happened? So the Raptors are a Rob, that's hilarious. The Raptors are a 8 and under soccer team.
Oh God.
And Jared has the Turtles, right?
The Turtles?
Yeah, the Turtles. And this lady coaches the Raptors that Jared played against last week, and she was like talking trash before the game. Like serious trash. Yeah.
8-year-old soccer?
Yes. Yeah.
Which is better than 2-year-old soccer, but
to
not
Jared's credit, he looked at her and said, like, what are you doing? Like, why are you like, why are you saying this to me? I did look her up on Facebook, Rob, and not surprised after kind of looking her up there.
Well, did the Raptors beat the Turtles?
The Raptors did beat the Turtles, yes. Yeah, 3-1. So
okay, don't you think the Turtles are a dumb name for a soccer team?
Well, no, because it's the Ninja Turtles.
Oh, the Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I thought there was a dumb name as well, and I saw their logo, and it's a Ninja Turtle.
So, what's our weakness? What's the Turtles' problem?
They're having trouble scoring. They're very good defensively.
Yeah,
I think they're 4-2 or 5-3, something like that.
That's not bad. You can't fire the coach over that.
No, I think he's doing a good job. Their losses, I think they're 5-2. Their losses have been close. Like they're having trouble scoring. He told me the problem is when this one kid doesn't play goalie, they're really bad. And he can't, but they also need the one kid to also play forward some, or they can't score. So it's like if they take out this kid out of goalie, they give up goals, but if they keep him in goal, they're having trouble scoring. So that's what it is. Yeah,
that is an issue.
No, it's funny, Kevin. I hadn't been on Facebook. If you go back and watch the end of Blinkers Off, I hadn't been on since April. And Jared sent me the profile, and I had 200, I think it was 247 Facebook notifications. I hadn't been on since April, and I haven't been on since. So we were laughing at that pretty hard because it got on there, and like I said, I hadn't been on since April, and I was like, oh my God. And I got right off. I did not look at any of the notifications. 247 though.
I think I would keep the kid in goal.
No, that's what he does, and they win games 2-1, or they lose games 2-1.
Yeah. If you take him out of goal and the other team scores easily, you're not going to win any games. So
exactly, and Rob. That was a part of the story I didn't tell you, Papa Dude. So they play the game, and then after the game, Jared gets a friend request on Facebook from this person. He's like, who in the hell is this? Looks is like, oh my God, that's that stupid coach, you know.
Is she older?
Yeah. I mean, not ancient, but she's old.
Ancient means 40.
She might be that. You got to remember, I'm almost 40, so that's not ancient.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
She probably, I mean.
Yeah, but so's he.
Yeah, no, I know.
40.
And I think what we determined is he was too dumb to realize she was actually flirting with him. And
he
like he kept talking, and we're like, oh, well, that really wasn't talking shit. Like she was actually trying to hit on you, you know? So. And
then she sent him a friend request after the game, right?
Yes, after the game. Yes. Yeah.
Well, she definitely was hitting on him.
Right. I agree.
And he wasn't interested.
Yes, he was not interested whatsoever. Now, I will say,
did she have a funny looking mouth like that one down in Hot Springs when he wasn't interested in that one?
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, she was actually good looking. Yeah. Yeah, she was. Yeah. No, God, that was funny that day. That was really funny. Yeah. That was the girl that he kind of knew her, and he ran into her at that bar, right?
Oh, okay.
Wasn't that night?
I think so.
And then she wanted to like see him at the track, and he was avoiding her. Yes. That was
funny. That was it.
And then he's like, I don't know. I'm not into her. She show a picture and like, dang, she's pretty good looking. It's like, yeah, but look at her mouth. And it's like,
yeah, that's when I knew the boy has some issues.
oh gosh. Pretty funny. My wife also, I think back in 2005 may have sent me a friend request. That would have been 2006. I'm sorry. Yeah. Here's what's funny. This is a true story. When I met Heather, I did not have a Facebook. And honestly, because if you remember, Facebook only used to be for college kids. And some schools didn't have it yet. And our school got it about 2 months before I met her. And I actually created a Facebook to become friends with her on Facebook. So it's pretty crazy. Yeah. So anyway. Yeah.
Well, I hate it. So.
Well, yeah, obviously.
I do. There's a couple of games on there I like to play, and that's all it's worth.
Yep.
I don't like reading who went out to eat at Chili's or,
I agree.
I don't have to air that to anybody.
No.
I don't consider that noteworthy. It's okay. If you know what, if you move away from home and you need to keep up with people, it's okay. Send pictures and stuff. It's all right. Or whatever they do. I don't know.
Well, that was just it. Facebook was definitely like just a place to try to meet girls. I mean, that's what it was. And then it turned into, your mom being on there talking about God knows what. And that's why like people my age, and I don't know how old you are, Rob, or any of y'all listening, Car Ramrod, anybody, but that's why we all just were like, well, this is awful now, because we used to be able to get on there when we were young in college and say whatever we want, do whatever we want. And that's not the case anymore. So once they opened it up for everybody, that's when they ruined it. So, and that's why kids now are on stuff where the adults don't understand what it is, because they're trying to get away. So.
Absolutely.
All right, we're going to get off here, guys. Big weekend coming up. Going to be a lot of fun. I will talk to you guys tomorrow for Blinkers Off. We'll have the daily show as well, so we'll talk to you guys then. Thanks, everybody, for joining us for this one. We'll be right back here next week for more. All right, that's it. We'll see you guys later.
This is Due to Bet Sports. Due to Bet Sports, it's your favorite show. Due to Bet Sports, where degenerates go. Due to Bet Sports, time to change your approach with Aaron Holzman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of shit.